My dear children, this is the second part of the video of the lesson Respiration in Organisms. In the previous video, we have learnt about aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. In this video, let us understand the process of breathing.
To understand the process of breathing, in humans, the main organs responsible for respiration are present in the thoracic cavity. In the thorax region, the rib cage and a dome-shaped fibrous tissue known as the diaphragm are observed. Present within the rib cage are the pleural membranes which enclose the lungs. The right lung is divided into three lobes: the right superior, right middle, and the right inferior lobe. The left lung is smaller and has only two lobes: the left superior and the left inferior lobe. Both the lungs are associated externally with small tubular bronchi which unite and extend into the trachea. The trachea has incomplete C-shaped rings of cartilage which prevent the tracheal wall from collapsing. The trachea leads into the pharynx, which is connected to the nostrils. As we breathe in air, the oxygen molecules enter the nostrils and travel downwards through the pharynx and trachea to finally reach the bronchi. From each bronchus, oxygen travels into the lungs. Within the lungs, the bronchus divides repeatedly to form bronchioles. Oxygen travels through these bronchioles and reaches the alveoli, each of which is surrounded by a network of capillaries. A section of one alveolus shows the presence of numerous alveolar chambers with pores. Blood containing RBCs is seen flowing through the capillaries. The oxygen molecules from the alveolus diffuse into the capillary and then get absorbed by the bluish-purple RBCs. This causes oxygenation of the RBCs, and a transition in their color from bluish-purple to red is observed. The blood moving into the alveolus contains RBCs and carbon dioxide molecules. These molecules are released into the alveolus. The carbon dioxide collects in the alveolar chamber. And then from the alveolus, it travels through the bronchioles into the bronchus, which finally reaches the trachea and is breathed out through the nostrils. So the process of breathing in air rich in oxygen is called inhalation. After the contraction of muscular diaphragm, the lungs expand and the air rushes in, resulting in the inflation of alveoli. During exhalation, the diaphragm moves up and the lungs contract. Thus, the alveoli deflate, causing the air to be forced out. This exhaled air is rich in carbon dioxide. This process of inhalation and exhalation is known as respiration, which is approximately 20 times per minute.
ನಾವು ಉಸಿರಾಡುವಾಗ ನಾವು ಇನ್ಹೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದಂಥ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮ ನಾಸ್ಟ್ರಿಲ್ ಮೂಲಕ ನೇಸಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾವಿಟಿಯನ್ನು ತಲುಪಿ ನಂತರ ಟ್ರೇಕಿಯಾ ಅಂದರೆ ವಿಂಡ್ ಪೈಪ್ ಮೂಲಕ ನಮ್ಮ ಲಂಗ್ಸ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ತಲುಪುತ್ತದೆ. ನಾವು ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ರಿಚ್ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಗಾಳಿಯನ್ನು ಲಂಗ್ಸ್ಗೆ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋ ಕ್ರಿಯೆಗೆ ನಾವು ಇನ್ಹೇಲೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಹಾಗೆಯೇ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ರಿಚ್ ಇರುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಗಾಳಿಯನ್ನು ನಾವು ಆಚೆ ಹಾಕುವ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸಲೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ನಾವು ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಹೌ ಡು ಅದರ್ ಎನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ಬ್ರೀತ್. ನಾವು ಈಗ ತಾನೇ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಹೇಗೆ ತಮ್ಮ ಲಂಗ್ಸ್ ಮೂಲಕ ಉಸಿರಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಈಗ ನಾವು ಬೇರೆ ಎನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಉಸಿರಾಡ್ತವೆ, ಯಾವುದ್ರ ಮೂಲಕ ಉಸಿರಾಡ್ತವೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಕಲಿಯೋಣ.
At the end of this lesson, you'll be able to understand how gases are exchanged in insects, explain how earthworms breathe, describe the different ways in which frogs respire, explain how fish breathe in water, explain the breathing process in plants. Like human beings, insects need oxygen for survival as well. Again, like human beings, they produce carbon dioxide as a waste product. But unlike human beings, insects like grasshopper, housefly, cockroaches, etc. do not have lungs. The process by which gas exchange takes place in insects is known as diffusion. Air enters the insect body through tiny holes present on the sides of the body. These holes are known as spiracles. The spiracles open into a network of thin air tubes spread over the body of an insect. These tubes are known as the trachea and they facilitate gas exchange. Oxygen reaches the cells through the tracheal system and the carbon dioxide is received from the cells by the tracheal system and expelled from the insect body through spiracles. Earthworms, like insects, do not have lungs, nor do they have a nose. They breathe through their skin. They absorb oxygen from air and soil. When the oxygen comes in contact with their moist skin, it breaks down. It is absorbed through tiny blood vessels and circulated throughout the body. The same blood vessels carry the carbon dioxide to be expelled through the skin. For an effective absorption of oxygen, earthworms keep their skin moist. Frogs, like human beings, have lungs. They use their lungs for breathing. But since their lungs are not well developed, they use two other types of respiration. One is buccal respiration and the other is cutaneous respiration. In buccal respiration, oxygen is absorbed and the blood vessels that line the roof of their mouth expel carbon dioxide. During this process, the passage to the lungs remains closed. In cutaneous respiration, oxygen is absorbed by the network of blood vessels on their skin. This respiration is effective only if their skin is moist. This technique of respiration is used by frogs on both land and water. Since fish is an aquatic animal, its respiratory system is different from the respiratory system of animals living on land. Fish has gills that allow it to breathe in water, so the fish is under no compulsion to come to the surface of the water for air. They take in oxygen-rich water through their mouth and pass it over the gills. The gills are lined with blood vessels which absorb the oxygen and release carbon dioxide into the water. The deoxygenated water is then expelled from the body through gills. In plants, respiration takes two different forms. One, when the pores of the plant absorb oxygen and release carbon dioxide. These pores are present all over the plant body and even in the roots. 2. When photosynthesis takes place. In this form of respiration, plants absorb carbon dioxide and release oxygen. Summary. Let us summarize what we have learned. In insects, air enters in their body through tiny holes called spiracles present on the sides of their body. Earthworm exchanges gas through its skin. Frogs have a pair of lungs like human beings for breathing. Their skin is moist and slippery. They can also breathe through their skin. They also breathe through their mouth. Fish have special organs for respiration called gills. Plant respiration takes two different forms. In one form, oxygen is absorbed and carbon dioxide is released. In the other form, carbon dioxide is absorbed and oxygen is released.
My dear students, in this video, we have learned the process of breathing. breathing in human beings, and how do other animals breathe. This completes the lesson. Hope you all understood the lesson.